Hi guys, welcome to Taste to Explore. My name is Darlene, and today, my friends, we are making a classic Cuban dish called Ropa Vieja, which it translates to old clothes. I don't know why, but it does. But what this dish is basically shredded beef, braised shredded beef, and it is absolutely phenomenal. There are tons of ways to prepare it, but today I'm going to show you my way, which is absolutely delicious, and I know you will love it. So it's really easy to prepare. I do have some simple steps that need to be done in order to make this fabulous dish become alive and delicious, and I'm going to show you how that is to be done. So now let's walk over to these ingredients to get this started. Alright guys, now let's begin. Now what I have here are just the ingredients just to season and prepare this beautiful piece of meat, and later on I'll show you the additional ingredients to get the sauce ready and everything else. Alright, so right here I have beef bottom ground roast, and this is 4 pounds. Okay, now for the spices we have here cumin, dry thyme, and dry oregano. Then we have black pepper and sazon, adobo. Then we have here garlic paste. We have here sofrito, and then we have here sour orange juice and 2 small limes. And that is all you're going to need for the base to season this wonderful piece of meat. And now let's get right to it. Alright guys, so after you finish washing your meat and using your clean hands, we are going to cut this bad boy up because it's really big and we want all the flavors to get in every nook and cranny of this meat. So what we're going to do is, I'm just going to start by just cutting it down the middle. Now as you can see, before I start, there's a little bit of fat, see, very little here and a little bit in the bottom. You want to keep all the fat that's on here because the fat is what's going to marinate this meat. If not, it's going to be tough and dry, and you don't want that. So I'm just going to cut down, and I'm just going to cut so we can make like big chunks, which is easy to work with rather than just this one big flap of meat. Like I mentioned before, there are tons of ways to prepare this. Every household does it differently. So if you see something that is different from what you know, my apologies, but you know, everybody cooks different in their kitchen. Alright guys, so after you cut your meat into big chunks like you see here and they're ready to go, now I'm just going to start seasoning this bad boy up. In no particular order. I'm going to put in my adobo first. And remember, adobo is to taste because it has quite a bit of salt in it if you buy it from the store. But I do have a lovely recipe on how to make it from scratch, and it doesn't contain no salt, so it's just perfect. But I ran out of my homemade stuff, so I had to improvise with the store-bought. So we're just gonna season this through because this is the only time we're really gonna be seasoning this meat, so you might as well make it good the first time. Alright, so I'm just spreading on it through. Perfect. Then I'm just putting my black pepper and the sazon, give it a nice color. Fresh black pepper at that, really gives it a wonderful, wonderful color. I mean, fresh black pepper, I'm sorry. It's better. It gives it a wonderful flavor, and it's not dried out from the bottle. And here is my herbs and cumin. Really a classic combination because a lot of Hispanic cookings we use cumin, so it's really the same thing everywhere you go. Now this is the sour oranges, and that was store-bought, by the way. That was that was store-bought, by the way. I bought the concentrated oranges, and sometimes if you can't find the fresh, just use the concentrated. That's perfectly fine. And here I have my garlic pureed and my homemade sofrito. And right here I'm going to put some fresh lime juice. Okay, my friends, with your clean hands, and after you're putting everything all in there, now get in there with your hands. Massage your meat thoroughly. Alright, so after you massage your meat well, this is going to need to sit in the refrigerator for a minimum of 1 to 3 hours, or preferably overnight. The more you allow your marinade to sit through the meat, the more flavor your meat will have, and it penetrates and just makes such an awesome sauce, awesome tasting meat like never before. So I'm going to allow this just to sit in the refrigerator for a minimum between 1 and 3 hours, and then I'm going to put aluminum foil over this and place it in the refrigerator, and I'll see you right back when it's time to do the next part of this. This is going to be awesome. I'll see you right back. Okay, my friends, and let's begin. Now right here, I just finished taking out my meat that had been marinated in the refrigerator for 1 hour, but you can certainly leave it overnight. The longer you allow your meat to sit in its marinating juices, the more intensified the flavors will be. Now right here I have a cast iron pot. Now you don't have to use cast iron, that's just what I have because it's a great conductor of heat. But anyhow, any high size pot will do because we're going to stew this. And I have about 2 tablespoons of regular flavorless oil, like vegetable oil. That's what I have today, and that's what you're going to want to do. We're just going to slightly sear it just to allow it to have a nice color, and it also produces an extra level of flavor because of all the bits that leaves behind. Now I'm going to slightly color it, maybe a minute on each side. It's not going to fry all the way through. My skillet is nice and hot, and it's ready for my meat to be placed right in. So right now I'm just going to start putting in my chunks of meat. Alrighty, so I'm taking out my last pieces of my meat, and as you can see, the bottom has all that delicious bits and bites. So I am going to deglaze that right now, baby. That is free flavor, and this is a must. So please try not to skip this process because it's a must, it's a must. So right now I'm going to put my meat to the side. And you see the pot that the bowl that we had the meat in there, there's still a lot of flavor and spices in the bottom. I'm going to pour some water in there to put this right in here because that's what we're going to do. We are going to put that right in here, and that's going to deglaze the bottom of our pot. Alright, so what I did was right now, you want to make sure that your stove is on a low because you don't want nothing to jump up on you and get burned. So this is cooking wine, and like I mentioned to you before, I'm going to list down all the measurements of everything that I have used in this recipe right in the description box below. So I have a half a cup of cooking wine, and you don't have to use nothing expensive. Right now I'm deglazing my pan, and I want to scrape some of that delicious bits up because that's going to release some flavor. Is not burned whatsoever. Okay, so I'm deglazing my bowl here where the meat was marinating in, and I have put in 3 cups of water. Alrighty, so after you put in the 3 cups of water, I have put in 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, and right here is 4 spritz of thyme, fresh thyme. And now I'm just going to stir things through. Right now I'm going to place my meat back in. It has a nice seared top color. It's not cooked through, it's still raw in the middle and everywhere else, but it just has a great flavor. You can produce a great flavor if you sear your meats just a little bit. One last piece. Trying to make room. Squeezing them in together. Perfect. And everything that's left in the plate, put it right back in, because that is flavor. So I'm going to cook this down for 1.5 hours. And I'm going to place a lid on it. And you see how the liquid is pretty much not completely covering it, but it's quite submerged in here. And you see how the liquid is and you see how the liquid is not quite covering the meat, but it's pretty much submerged. Like you can see just a little bit of it. That is fine. That's how you want it. You want your stove to be at a medium low. Put a lid on, and we're going to check on this in 1.5 hours, and I will show you what I'm going to do next. See you right back. Alright guys, now let's begin removing our meat out of here. It is done and is ready to be flaked off. Alright guys, so I already started my process in shredding my meat. All you're going to need is a fork, a plate, and another fork or a tongue, and you're just gonna shred it down. You could use your hands if you want, if it's not too hot. You know, I don't want you to get burned. Just be careful. You can make it as stringy or as thick pieces as you want, and just go against the grain. The grain is going this way and you're pulling down that way. So that's exactly what I'm doing, and I'm just gonna continue it on until I have all of this meat shredded up. So I'll see you right back. I have some last finishing touches on it, which I'm going to put in a few sprigs of cilantro, whole like that, that's fine. Some onions, because I didn't want my onions to be so mushy, and I didn't want my my orange bell pepper to be so mushy. I kind of want it to have a little bit of a crunch to it. And right here I have about 2 tablespoons of salad Spanish olives with 1 tablespoon of its brine. And that is it, my friends. This is the last touch to this. Okay guys, so what is going to happen now is I'm going to allow this to simmer for 10 minutes. All I want is my onions to soften just a little. I still want to keep its crunch and its texture. And with the orange sweet bell pepper, I just want it to, as well like the onions, just to cook down just a little bit, but still have its texture. And this is pretty much done. Well, my friends, thank you for joining me today in my kitchen. Now it's time to do a taste test. So now I'm gonna take my fork, and my my Ropa Vieja is nice and it's warm. It's slightly cooled off, so I can eat it right now without being scorching hot. And I can't wait to get a bite. Wow. This, my friends, this, my friends, it is full of wonderful flavor. You have to give this a try. This will be a dynamite on your dinner table. The way I'm having it today is white rice, this with sweet plantains and avocado. That's how I'm dressing my dinner tonight. But you can certainly make anything along the side with this. You can make mashed potatoes. You can do mango. Whatever it is that you want to pair this off with, this will go perfect. I promise you. So thank you once again for joining me in my kitchen. You know it's always a pleasure having you cook along with me. Give this a try. This is super tasty. Really not a lot that goes with it. Just a little time consuming, just a little bit, but it just brings so much flavor to the table. I mean, it's well worth it. So thank you again. Don't forget to join me in my social medias. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this, please. Take care. Bye-bye.